Next, I want to show you advanced markers in Pro Tools. Now, markers is a feature that most of us use. You can see them right here, intro, verse, pre-chorus, and so on. But I have a good feeling that a lot of you are not using some of the advanced techniques that could be used with markers. So I want to show you them in this video. But let's review. To create markers like this, just go to the section you want to create one, hit enter, and put a marker in. Give it a name, and it shows up right there. If you want to delete it, hold Option down on the Mac or Alt on the PC and delete it. Or go right here and choose Memory Locations, which is our markers, and this is our list of markers right here. We can delete them from here, see it turns to an eraser. We can also recall them based on their number. Go to our intro on the numerical keyboard, hit decimal point, 1, decimal point. So it's dot 1 dot. That recalls that one. For verse 1 or marker 2, we'll do decimal point 2, decimal point, and so on. And if we want to move them or adjust them and resave them, just click somewhere. Let's say we want to move the intro to here, hit dot 1 enter, and we can adjust it here. Hit OK, and the marker moved here. Let's undo that. But that's the basic use of markers. And I'm sure most of you are using it for that. But there's so much more to markers than what I've just shown you. So let's get into it. So let's create another marker, hit enter, and notice right here, the first section is time properties, markers based by time, which is what we're using right now. When we do intro, verse 1, and pre-chorus, that's based on the time, where they sit in the track. But we could also choose a selection. So let's do that. Let's say we're editing drums, and we want to get really close to one of the kick hits, like this one right here. And we want to select from there to one of the later hits. Move over to, say, this hit over here. Zoom in again, hold down Shift, and drag it to there. And here's our selection. Now let's say we wanted to save that selection for later use. But let's put it on all the drums. So let's bring it down by hitting Shift:. Let's get all the drum tracks. And now let's save that selection in case you want to use it later. Hit enter. And instead of choosing marker, we'll choose selection. We'll name it drums 1. Hit OK. And now if we lose our selection by clicking outside, we can get it back by going right here. And notice all the other markers we've been using have a little flag right here letting us know they're time-based markers just at points. But this one's a little different. The flag over here lets us know it's based on a selection. So if we need to get the selection back at any point, hit decimal point 20 decimal point, and it's recalled. And notice it's based on tracks as well. So if we selected just the kick and save that to 21, selection, and name it kick or kick 1, just this track with the selection is saved. We can recall it right here, or this one, or by using the numbers, .20 dot or .21 dot. And obviously, we can make a whole bunch more. We can go from here to here, name it drums 2, and recall that one as well. Decimal point 22 decimal point. And again, we could do it right here. And to delete these, Option on the Mac, Alt on the PC, it turns into an eraser, and just delete them. So that's the other type of time-based marker. Let's hit enter again. The other option is hitting none, which means the next marker we create will not be based on time. Instead, we could base it on things down here. Now keep in mind, we can do both. We can make time-based markers and some of the general properties down here. But for now, let's keep them separate. But just know you can combine them. So with none selected, let's choose some of these. One of them is zoom settings. Let's choose this. We'll name it zoom 1. And now this zoom setting, where it's set up now, is saved as a marker. So if we zoom out and want to get back to it, just choose it right here. Now it's based on left-right movement. So it's not going to go to the same spot every time. It's based on where we click. So if I click over here and zoom out, hit it again, it zooms back to our cursor, but with that zoom setting. Now using zoom settings on their own is not necessarily the most efficient way of using them. The reason being, we already have zoom presets over here. So we can set this up as zoom 1 could be like this, zoom 2 could be like this, and zoom 3 could be like this. I'm holding down Command on the Mac or Control on the PC and clicking these buttons. Now to recall them with Command Focus turned on, this thing right here, and I'll show you Command Focus a bit later, we can just hit one key, not the numerical keyboard, but the alpha keyboard, we can hit the numbers. Hit 1, 2, or 3. And that'll create zoom presets as well. And that works pretty much the same as these here. But the benefit of using it with markers is we can combine it with some other things. So it's not really efficient to use it by itself, but when combining it with some other things, it is worth using the zoom settings. So let's skip this for now and move on. Let's delete this. Let's take a break before we move on to the second half of advanced markers.